Some pretty incredible news coming out in the past 48 hours for Social Security. And in this video, we're going to be talking about $1,400 one-time stimulus checks to Social Security recipients and why with what just happened today, it might not seem as far-fetched as you might think. That, and in the past 48 hours as well, just the past 2 days, there has been a lot coming out about Social Security enhancements, increases, bump-ups that need to happen to everybody across the board that collects Social Security, including retirement, SSI, SSDI, any of the fixed income benefits that are received from the Social Security Administration. So I'm going to be covering this for you, and they're saying it is well needed with the way that inflation is raging in our nation and around the globe. We're actually seeing other countries right now doing inflation stimulus. It just happened in Japan this month, just announced a couple days ago in China. And what about here in the United States? Inflation is continuing on, and some stimulus checks would help out those that are hurting the most, especially those that are receiving Social Security. And like I said, I'm going to be sharing with you why this is not as far-fetched as you might think. Wait till you see the numbers and what President Joe Biden just did today. And if you missed my video yesterday, stick around to the end for an update, as we just had a hearing with the Social Security Administration in the Ways and Means Committee, as they said what is taking place right now with the Social Security Administration is not okay. There needs to be fixes because there are people depending on this. And these overpayment problems, these scary letters going out is absolutely insane. We need to fix it. But in addition to that, we need to provide enhancements across the board to help people out at this time. So let's go ahead and dive right in. But before we do me a quick favor, smash the like button if you appreciate the updates. Just takes a second. Thank you so much. And if you want to stay up to date, it's totally free. Just hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. Just takes a second, and I'll keep you up to date on everything going on with Social Security. And I know there's a lot taking place with Congress, our economy, and everything, but I'll keep you up to date every step of the way. Now, $1,400 stimulus checks to all Social Security recipients is not a new concept. This came out during the pandemic. Take a look. This was October of 2021, almost exactly 2 years ago, where the Senior Citizens League, they proposed $1,400 stimulus checks for seniors. And this was as a result of a lot of the issues that went out with stimulus checks, and a lot of them getting missed because they did not match qualifications. And President Joe Biden had also come out during the beginning of the pandemic and said we should also increase monthly Social Security checks by $200 per month, as proposed by Senator Wyden and colleagues. Seniors and people with disabilities are uniquely at risk right now. And even though that was about 3 years ago, let me know in the comments if you believe it still rings true today, as our economy is riddled with decade-high inflation, and those that are on fixed income benefits are suffering the most. That's why we've seen so many pieces of legislation coming out, like the Social Security Expansion Act, which is proposing a $2,400 increase every year, which is a $200 per month increase, like we saw proposed by Biden. However, we are yet to see that come to fruition. But we currently have problems with Social Security and stimulus. Take a look. Articles coming out in the past 48 hours, stimulus checks are being counted against people's Social Security payments. That is right. Stimulus check payment error sparks calls for Social Security investigation. And I shared with you just 2 days ago, in the past 48 hours, the Social Security Administration Commissioner, Kilolo Kijakazi, she was questioned in a hearing, and the Social Security Administration is being held accountable as millions of letters are going out for overpayments that are the fault of the Social Security Administration, but they are demanding that recipients pay back the difference, sometimes to the tunes of thousands, tens of thousands, or even over $100,000. They're saying this is not okay, and somebody needs to hold them accountable. They should forgive these overpayments since it's their fault, as typically they don't have the money to do so. Those on SSI can't even hold more than $2,000 or $3,000 in their bank account at a time. And they're saying a lot of these are being triggered by previous stimulus checks. Take a look. A number of U.S. senators are demanding answers from the Social Security Administration after repayment requests were incorrectly sent out to recipients. Ron Wyden, Sherrod Brown, Bob Casey sent a letter to the Social Security Administration's acting commissioner, Kilolo Kijakazi, regarding overpayment notices issued because of stimulus checks. They wrote that they are deeply concerned that beneficiaries are receiving overpayment notices in error. So we had heard before the Social Security Administration was having issues with overpayments that they were sending out. Now they're saying these overpayment letters are actually in error because they're calculating it with stimulus checks, and many of those that receive Social Security missed out on stimulus checks. As you know, SSI benefits, while modest, have a substantial impact in the lives of the people who rely on them, the senators wrote. Benefit suspensions or overpayment notices, regardless of the cause, can have a profound negative impact in their lives. And that is exactly what the Social Security Administration must understand, that benefit suspensions and overpayment letters that demand that the money be paid back will ruin people's lives that collect Social Security. This cannot continue on. And that is why the hearing took place just 2 days ago, and I'm getting little clips of information coming out. When the entire video footage is released, I'll be sure to share it. But under fire, Social Security chief vows top to bottom review of payment clawbacks. Now, when asked how the agency is being held accountable for overpayment mistakes by the agency, Kijakazi said, "We are holding ourselves accountable." Take a look.
Who within the administration is being held accountable for the mistakes that the Social Security Administration is making?
We are holding ourselves accountable.
Now, let me know your thoughts, but I personally think that that is not cutting it. Again, if this is their fault, they should forgive those overpayments and not make beneficiaries that are depending on this pay it back with money that they currently do not have. Now, regarding $1,400 stimulus checks to everyone across the board that collects Social Security, there were some pretty interesting things that took place today. Now, as I mentioned, this was proposed 2 years ago. But take a look at this. There currently is about 66 million people that receive Social Security benefits, and if a $1,400 check was issued, it would cost about $92 billion. Sounds like a lot of money, but when you take into consideration all of the spending that takes place, $92 billion is not that much, and $6 trillion was allocated throughout the course of the pandemic over the last 3 years, of which there are still hundreds of billions of dollars left over that could be tapped into to help people out through this time with inflation. And just today, take a look at this. In just the past couple hours, President Biden faces a tough battle to secure $105 billion for Ukraine and for Israel and the border and more. $105 billion issued out for other countries just today, but it would only take $92 billion to send out a one-time $1,400 stimulus check for the people of our nation right here. For everybody collecting Social Security, they could each get $1,400 to help them out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, but this would actually be cheaper to help out our people right here with a one-time check for those collecting Social Security. Now, in addition to that, it was just announced about the cost of living adjustment that is going out. And as I mentioned in my video yesterday, John Larson said that what is going out with that COLA is not enough. We need enhancements across the board as inflation is raging. And wait till you hear the speech that he gave. It was pretty incredible. Now, don't miss it. Check it out right here next, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you for joining me. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.